Hey, profit slump at CNN as ratings plummet. I tried to warn him. I told him if you lose Chris Cuomo, you're going to lose the whole thing, and here we are.
He's in News Nation now. It's too late.
Too late.
He's found a new home.
So here's the thing that's interesting about this story. And I don't know if other people are going to report it this way. But projections from S&P Global Market Intelligence say CNN's profitability is on a pace to decline. $956 million this year. So CNN is going to make in profit almost $1 billion this year. In profit. CNN. Who the fuck? No one's watching it, and somehow they're going to make $1 billion. Profit. That would mark the first time since 2016 that the network had dipped below $1 billion in profit, according to 3 people familiar. I'm shocked that it made that much money. I can't believe this.
How does it?
And by the way, so now it declined from $1 billion to $956 million. That's considered a crisis if you're a capitalist. You'd be, most people, if you had a business that was making $1 billion selling shit, you'd be like, wow, we're doing pretty good. We could do this forever. We could make $1 billion a year forever, or 900 million, or somewhere around. This is great. You wouldn't see it $956 million in profit as a failure, but that's how capitalism works. They see that as a failure.
They project the winnings, and then you start spending and buying based on your future winnings.
So 2 people familiar with CNN's operation said the network's initial 2022 profitability target was $1.1 billion, which Mr. Licht is on track to miss by more than $100 million. That's the new guy in charge of CNN. But another person familiar with the matter said that so they were projected to hit 1.1 billion. They're only going to make 9 profit. Again, this is not gross. That's profit. And it's seen as a failure. Another person familiar with the matter said that by the accounting of company executives, Mr. Licht was on track to meet a profitability target of roughly $950 million for the year, since the network's initial budget didn't account for losses associated with launching the CNN Plus streaming service. But get this, to help, so they need to find more money. So that guy is in trouble if he can't get the profitability or the net profits up to 1.1 billion. He's got to figure out a way to do that, or he's going to be seen as a failure. And so to help solve this financial puzzle, that's what they're calling this. $950 million in profit is a puzzle.
It's a head scratcher to me.
Whoa. On a network no one's watching, and they're still making $1 billion. That is nuts. But listen how they tried to fix it. Listen to this. To help solve the financial puzzle, Mr. Licht has tapped Chris Marlin, a longtime friend who was recently an executive at the Florida home builder Lennar. They brought that guy in to run a TV network. He's never run a TV network. He's never worked at a TV network, but he's going to run it. Mr. Marlin had no experience operating a cable news network, having worked at the law firms of Foley and Lardner and Holland and Knight.
But he had cable.
So literally any idiot can do a better job than Jeff Zucker. So I'm sure he has cable. I'm sure he's watched CNN, and that's all the qualifications you need.
I mean, at this point, probably.
Mr. Licht, who took over CNN in May after a corporate merger made Warner Brothers Discovery its parent company, has tried to sell its staff on a vision for the network that isn't tethered to traditional TV ratings. No punchline needed. No punchline needed. It's already funny. It's already funny. A vision of, it's not tethered to ratings? You mean you guys are going to start doing journalism? I don't think so. Careful. That might get so much ratings that they'll have to suppress it.
He has to sell the journalists and staff. On journalism?
That's what he's doing.
I have a vision.
He's trying to sell the staff at CNN, a news company, on the vision of just doing news. Don't worry about if it's profitable or not. Just don't worry about it. That's what he's trying to sell journalists on at the company. Journalists are like, fuck you. Let's do what, if it bleeds, it leads, baby. What are you, from a home builder? So during a meeting with employees his first week, Mr. Licht said CNN would generate revenue by pitching advertisers on the network's Pristine Brand. That's right. The #1 news network at the airport. Pristine. So this is really what he's trying to do. He's going to try and generate revenue, not by telling company or advertisers how many viewers they have. He's going to brag about their pristine brand, not just sheer audience size. I don't want producers making decisions based on what they think will rate, he said. This is fun because this is complete bullshit. And if that isn't, Mr. Lick will be going back to the home building business pretty soon. Because your shareholders are not going to put up with that shit. This is real. Ratings are down from their Trump era heights across cable news, but declines at CNN are particularly pronounced. The network has drawn an average of 639,000 people in prime time this quarter. What? Are you shitting me? We get 100,000 people on our own fucking live stream, and that's during the day. That's not even in prime time. Are you shitting me?
Wow, News Nation doesn't sound so bad now, does it?
No.
With Chris Cuomo.
So that's a 27% decrease from a year ago. So a year ago, they had almost 30% more viewers. It trails MSNBC, does CNN, which is down 23% in prime time during the same period, and Fox News, where viewership is up about 1%. The network is trying to listen to this story. Honest to God, I can't believe I sent this to Kurt for jokes because it's so funny by itself. The network is trying to defray costs associated with CNN Plus, you know, that big failure. And how are they trying to defray the costs of CNN Plus? By selling some of the programming created for CNN Plus. You know, the thing nobody wanted to see? Now they're going to try to sell it. They're going to sell it to HBO Max and Warner Brothers and other providers. They're going to sell CNN Plus content. What content is that? Is that Don Lemon cooking or Jeffrey Toobin jerking off? Which is it? What's that content you think people want to see?
Toobin After Hours is the one I would.
I would go for that. Well, I mean, what a. I think his show is called Toobin After Hours. It's called Stroking Toobin. Stroking the tube. That's it. Stroking the tube. Tube stroking.
On the Pristine Network.
On the Pristine Network. Here's another way they're going to try and save money. You ready for this? Executives at CNN's corporate parent are examining the media empire, which includes the Turner cable networks and channels like Food Network, to find roughly $3 billion in cost savings. So it sounds like they're going to be cutting a lot of jobs over at Turner Cable. My friend Ben Mankiewicz works for Turner Classics. That's a pretty sweet job he's got over there. I would hate to see something happen to it. Plus the Food Network. Food Network sucks so bad. It was once a good network. They would actually have people on and they would cook shit.
What is it now?
It's just one contest after another. Cupcake Wars and fucking who can make the shittiest thing on a truck, and you're going to drive you around and put a blindfold on you and then have you cook. And it's like, what in the fuck? Can you just cook? Just have people come on and cook. It's always got to be a contest. Even the Iron Chef. Now, I like watching Iron Chef.
Yeah, that was around first.
But does everything have to be a contest? And that's all they do now. Oh, by the way, they got new people at Iron Chef. They got rid of the funny guy.
What?
The guy who was supposed to be funny, right?
Yeah.
They got rid of that guy. And who they replace him with?
A woman.
A woman. Remember that video I have of Brian Stelter saying ratings don't matter? He goes, if our ratings go down 50%, it doesn't matter. And then the whole room laughed in his face. Remember that? I should have had that.
Prophetic.
I should have remembered that. The bulk of CNN's revenue comes... Now, where do they get their money if no one's watching? So the bulk of CNN's revenue comes from long-term subscription deals with cable companies. And that's how Tucker Carlson makes his money.
Yeah.
Because Tucker Carlson doesn't really have a lot of advertisers. He's been so boycotted. It's just catheter commercials and the pillow guy. That's who are advertising on his show.
Like Pillow, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I asked him, I go, where does the revenue come from? And because I said, how are the because it was all about him telling the truth about Syria. And I go, why are you allowed to tell the truth about Syria? I thought advertisers. And he said, I don't have that many advertisers. And I said, well, how do you make money? You're the #1 show on Fox. And he said that the cable companies have to pay Fox News and they have to pay them for every viewer. So people pay, you have to pay your cable company to provide you cable. And so part of that goes to Fox News. And and they figure out how many people are watching, and then they have to pay you a certain percentage of the subscription rate of the subscriber. I think you get it. So if it costs me $100 for cable, my cable company Spectrum will take a couple of bucks from that and give it to Fox News. And if I'm watching Fox News, they know how many people are watching and they know how much to charge them. Isn't that wild? So that's the bulk of CNN's revenue, and they also get traditional TV advertising revenue. When those advertisers make spending decisions, they are concerned primarily with total audience size. Yeah, they don't care about your pristineness. Hey, you know what? I don't care how big that audience is. How pristine, though, is the reporting?
It's very complex, this.
So it sounds like CNN's going to try to be right down the middle politically instead of left or right. I like how just telling the truth never comes up once as an idea.
Not one time.
That's already off the table. What slant will be more popular than our current slant? If the strategy delivers more reach, that is more ratings, then it's probably a better business.
Mm.
But if it delivers less reach, if it turns out that the middle is a narrow place to be these days in America, then it's a less good business strategy.
Who's this prophet of business?
That guy's a regular Warren Buffett over here, huh? Holy shit. Is that Jeffrey Katzenberg? Oh, my God.
Well, if it works, then it was a good idea. And if it doesn't, then it's a less good idea.
That's right. That's an Ivy League educated guy. Okay, so there you go. CNN, even though no one watches their goddamn show, they still make $1 billion a year. To me, that's the headline.
Yeah.
To me, that's the headline. CNN, no one's watching, and we still make $1 billion fucking dollars a year. Unbelievable. Hey, we're doing live stand-up comedy coming to your town, Indianapolis, Louisville, Cincinnati, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Detroit, Rochester. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all the tickets for all our dates. See you in Denver, too.